Deciding what to order at a counter is a perfectly normal part of buying food. Menus contain options. Options require choices. Sometimes you walk into a coffee shop, sandwich place, or fast casual restaurant with no idea what you want and need a minute to figure it out. That is what the line is for. You join the queue. Maybe there are 4 people ahead of you. The menu is already visible above the counter. You now have several uninterrupted minutes in which nobody expects anything from you except gradual forward movement. This is the research phase. The line is not merely an obstacle between you and lunch. It is a waiting period during which lunch is supposed to become conceptually clearer. Then, the person ahead reaches the register. The cashier smiles and says, "Hi, what can I get for you?" And the customer looks up. That sound changes everything. They lean backward. They squint at the menu. One hand may rise toward the chin. Their eyes move across the options with the focused curiosity of someone who has just learned the establishment sells food. The menu has been hanging 12 feet in front of them for the entire journey. Apparently, it could not be legally reviewed until a cashier was present. The counter was supposed to be where the decision was announced. It has become where the decision is conceived. Before reaching the register, the customer's indecision belonged only to them. Now the cashier is waiting. The person behind is waiting. The person behind that person is waiting. Somebody who entered 30 seconds ago is already participating in a stranger's decision about grilled chicken. One person is choosing lunch. 7 people are attending the meeting. Then the questions begin. What comes on that? Fair. Is that spicy? Also fair. What's the difference between these two? Still reasonable. At some point, however, the cashier is no longer taking an order. The cashier has become a consultant. We have left the ordering phase and entered discovery. None of these questions is individually objectionable. Menus can be confusing. The problem is that the entire decision tree is being opened for the first time at the one location where everyone else is now required to wait for it to close. Then the customer begins thinking out loud. Well, I don't know if I want the turkey. The cashier waits. Because I had turkey yesterday. We have received background. The real escalation begins when the customer is not alone. They reach the counter with another person and only now turn sideways. What are you getting? I don't know. These 2 people have been standing together for 5 minutes. They have had unrestricted access to each other and the menu. But the summit could not begin until the cashier was present. Well, if you get the chicken, maybe I'll get the burger. Do you want to split fries? The register has become a conference table. They are negotiating a meal in front of witnesses. The cashier stands silently on one side. The line stands silently on the other. Everyone is waiting for a small bilateral trade agreement involving potatoes. Eventually, a breakthrough. Okay, I'll do the chicken sandwich. Relief. Then the cashier asks, "What size?" "Oh." A new branch has appeared. "What side would you like?" Pause. "What sides do you have?" Then comes the drink. Then the sauce. Then, whether they want the meal or the item separately. What appeared to be one decision contains several smaller decisions nested inside it. You thought they had chosen lunch. They had merely selected the category in which the remaining decisions would occur. Nobody's day has been ruined. The delay may only be a minute, maybe 2. The irritating part is that all of this deliberation is happening at the bottleneck. If the customer were standing 10 feet back staring at the menu for 6 minutes, nobody would care. That is their time. But once they reach the register, their private uncertainty becomes shared infrastructure. Indecision is free until you attach it to a bottleneck. Everyone in line has to pass through the same point. So when someone occupies it and begins reconsidering their relationship with turkey, the decision is no longer entirely personal. And nobody can really object. The cashier cannot say, "You had 4 minutes." The person behind cannot say, "Please select a sandwich." That would immediately make the wrong person look unreasonable. Because technically, the customer is doing exactly what customers are supposed to do. They are looking at a menu. They are asking questions. They are ordering food. So everyone waits. Quietly, while the customer uses the counter as a private decision-making office. There are obviously reasonable exceptions. Maybe you have never been there before. Maybe the menu is confusing. Maybe what you plan to order is unavailable. Maybe you have an allergy or dietary restriction. Maybe the cashier asks an unexpected question. Maybe you genuinely need a recommendation. All fine. The misdemeanor is not requiring more than 8 seconds to order. The misdemeanor is spending several minutes in line with unobstructed access to the menu, reaching the cashier, and beginning from zero. You do not need the entire order memorized. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to change your mind. We are simply asking that lunch be somewhere beyond the conceptual stage. A reasonable counter policy would be simple. While you are waiting, begin deciding. Narrow the field. Identify a likely candidate. Conduct whatever internal polling is necessary before another human being is standing there, waiting to enter it into a register. Because there is a strange transfer of responsibility at the front of a line. Before the counter, you are waiting for the business. At the counter, the business is waiting for you. The charge? Spending several minutes in line, reaching the counter, and only then beginning the process of determining what you would like to order. The defense? I'm just deciding what I want. The verdict? Technically reasonable. Procedurally late. You had the menu. You had the line. You had the time. The cashier was supposed to take your order. Somehow, they are now helping you discover it. You were waiting for the counter. The counter was apparently waiting for you.